Hello. Hey, do I sound good? Literally everything crashed as the countdown was going. So I don't know if it's all good or not. So if I blew your ears out, I am sorry. What is up? How is it going? Yes, we're good. Or is it hello? Buzz? Afternoon for some of y'all. I see. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're good. We're all good. All right, cool. I'm literally like hitting every single one that I can to pop you guys on. A little static here or there. Okay. I will attempt to fix that. Um okay, cool. I'm making sure because literally as it started, everything crashed. I had to like go back into StreamYard as it's counting down. I'm like, I didn't know it could do that. So we got a bit of an adrenaline rush right off the bat. Well, I am doing really good, man. I'm doing really good. Listen, Martinsville is my favorite track. I have made no mistakes whatsoever about saying that or not saying that. I love Martinsville Speedway. And I think that there is a lot to look at today when it comes to this race, whether it be the cutoff race, whether it be the new tire, whether it be, just everything leading up to it this weekend. Martinsville to me is always a ton of fun, even if it's not the greatest race. So I'm ready, man. I am ready. No audio. Okay. Seeing how there's only one no audio, I think we're good. It's popping up on my end. I also see that some of y'all might be like a half minute behind. So there's that too. But yeah, it is. I see the hot dogs in the chat. I see them. Get those hot dogs ready. The paper clips too. I see Clippy in there. I love it. I absolutely love it. And we got championship picks. But before we get to that, let's talk about the starting grid for today's race, the Xfinity 500. William Byron will be on the pole. I believe I got that right. Ty Gibbs second, then row 2, Larson and Logano. Hamlin and Custer, row 3, Busch and Elliott, row 4, Briscoe and Cindric round out the top 10. From there, Michael McDowell and Christopher Bell, 11th and 12th, 13th, Ross Chastain, 14th, Tyler Reddick, Hocevar in the 15th spot, and Gilliland 16th, 17th, Alex Bowman, Ryan Preece 18th, 19th, Brad Keselowski, and rounding out the top 20 is Austin Dillon. With that, too, you got Bubba Wallace in 21st, Shane Van Gisbergen in 22nd, Zane Smith and John Hunter Nemechek make up row 12. Row 13, Riley Herbst and Ty Dillon. And then you got Eric Jones and Josh Berry, the 43 and 21, side by side once again, 27th, 28th, Buscher 29th, and Suarez 30th after the big news for him this week. Ricky Stenhouse in 31st, Ryan Blaney having to come all the way up from the 32nd position to start out this race. AJ Allmendinger 33rd, Haley in 34th, Noah Gragson 35th, Cody Ware 36th, and rounding out the field is Casey Mears in the 37th and final starting position. And it's not, there you go. Love you too. Looking at the points heading on into this race. This is the cut line. These are the ones who can make it in off of points. Of course, it is missing 3 drivers because you have Hamlin and Briscoe who have won their way forward. Christopher Bell plus 37 in 3rd. Kyle Larson plus 36th in 4th. Pretty good gap, but if there's a new winner, these two will be under a blanket points-wise heading in. William Byron minus 36, 38 back for Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney 47 back. Chase Elliott not featured here. He is too far back for points to matter today. He must win. Most of these guys probably should win, though. I'd say all of them under the cut line probably are going to need a win. But Chase Elliott, mathematically, the only one who must win today. With that, we have a bit of an outlook to look at here. 500 laps, 130, 130, 240 is the stage breakdown today. NBC has the TV coverage. MRN has radio if you need to listen to it today. And weather for today, looking really good. A little chilly, but that's fine. I will take chilly over rain any day. Starting at the Moment of Green, we have 2 p.m., 58 degrees, mostly cloudy, but a little bit of sun, 2% chance of rain, but that's more precautionary than anything. Then after that, 59 cloudy, no rain, 3 p.m. This is all local time. 4 p.m., 60 cloudy, no rain. Same with 5 p.m. local time. And 6 p.m., it starts to cool off, 57 cloudy, 0% chance of rain as well. The sunset tonight is 6:29 p.m. Eastern time. If the race has no major delays or anything, we should end as the sun is starting to set, though we could go into the night because we've seen these races go nuts before. I'm actually, like I said, very excited. And even for, Martinsville standards, even before the next gen, I'm kind of excited for tonight. We have a new tire, left side tire, and from the sounds of it, it is going to throw a monkey wrench into things for this race. There's going to be a lot of change. Denny Hamlin, actually, in a press conference this weekend, likened it to COT era Martinsville when it came to the feel of the tires and the cars through the run, which, listen, I'm a big Gen 4 guy, but I think COT Martinsville is like peak. Like COT Martinsville and early, I'd say anything but 550 Gen 6, love it. Absolutely love that. If you go back, there was not a bad race at Martinsville in the COT era. Go and watch the 2007 races, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12. Every one of them had awesome moments, great racing, and if it's anything like that, I'll have a lot of fun. Now, we've been hyped up about tires before and about how this will be the big fix. This will be something that changes it, and it doesn't. But Goodyear has been on a bit of a roll of getting the tires right, making it work. I am cautiously very optimistic. If it is anything like what Denny Hamlin and other drivers and other media members and crew chiefs have said, it could be a really, really fun race today. I would say you're probably going to see more comers and goers. I don't think it's going to be like previous Martinsville races where it's just the same thing for like 80 laps and a huge fall off. It's, I think, going to be more of a gradual fall off. And that is something I really like. Looking at practice speeds, I decided to kind of take some of the data from that. When you look at the top 5 and just raw one-lap speed, Chase Elliott topped the board over Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, and Kyle Larson. In 10-lap averages, Kyle Larson was the fastest. Second was Elliott, so still pretty good. William Byron third. So in 10-lap averages, Hendrick Motorsports 1, 2, 3. Ty Gibbs in fourth, AJ Allmendinger in fifth. Of the playoff guys, when looking through, for one-lap runs, of course, like I said, Elliott first, Larson fifth, seventh for William Byron, ninth for Joey Logano, 11th for Ryan Blaney, and 16th for Christopher Bell. When you look at 10-lap averages, like I said before, 1, 2, 3 for Larson, Elliott, and Byron. 6th for Ryan Blaney, 9th again for Joey Logano, 11th for Christopher Bell. So Bell kind of lagging behind, Logano running back half the top 10 like normal. The battle really might be between the Hendrick boys, the Gibbs guys, and Ryan Blaney if he can make his way forward. If the tires are how we're talking here, it could be really big when it comes to that. Now, I do think the 11 has the edge in the long runs. I think this race fits really well into Denny Hamlin's hands if it goes with plenty of long runs. Like I said, I think the Hendrick guys are going to be strong. I think probably Briscoe through the day will get better. He tends to get pretty good as the day goes on, not just Martinsville, but in general. I think Bubba Wallace will be somebody to watch if you're looking for somebody outside of the playoff guys. I do think, though, the playoff guys are going to be the ones that make up a majority of the front runners of this race. I think that it just lines up really well. This is a good track for just about all of them. And if somebody comes up and spoils the party, it will be a pretty big surprise, honestly. I am open to it. I am A-okay with that, but I think it'll be a pretty big surprise. To kind of give you guys a bit of a idea of where the headspace was going into the weekend. I'll give you the NWP picks. I know a lot of you guys are pretty interested in what they look like. Danny has Denny Hamlin. Chat, y'all have Ryan Blaney. And then William Byron for Eric, Kyle Larson for me. I think all 4 of these are pretty damn strong picks, honestly. So there is that. I figured I'd show these on the pre-race more often. Now these pre-races are different because I can actually address guys and in the super chats and all that. We don't have to necessarily have a stage break. I had to take a picture because, like I said, everything crashed on my end, but Joshua Boston left too. First one says, today, as we head into the semifinal race of the season, I'm predicting that Larson and Bell will make up the final 4 based on the trend this year. Those below the cut line heading into race 3 of each round stay there. Points wise, yeah, I mean, if none of those guys win, I think that's how it's going to be points wise. I think it's just a little bit too difficult to make up that much ground against that good of competition. Talladega shook it up in a lot of ways. What a difference like 500 yards can make for William Byron, for instance, who lost over 20 points in just one kind of lazy spin through the tri-oval. Also says, I also don't think Blaney has that semifinal race surge magic with him this time, and thus he will miss out. No Penske contenders, no big problems. I'm not going to count him out until I actually see it in action, just because practice can still, especially with the low sample size we have, be a little bit of a challenge to necessarily gauge. I think you can get at least a start of it, but it's not like back in the day where you have a ton of practice that you can get that gauge of who's good and who's not. But I think this is going to be the toughest one yet for him. He has won 2 fall races in a row, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult for him to make his way up through the field with the next gen, even if it races well. I think it'll race better. I think he'll have opportunities, but starting so far back is going to be a pretty damn big issue. That's for sure. Looking at some of what you guys are saying in the chat, 24 sucks in the fall. He is definitely better in the spring. That is for sure. Trust me, I've been there when he's won in the spring and dominated in that fashion. It's just, I think it's just a matter of getting those early stage points, trying to get an edge over at least one of the 2. To me, the big question is the practice speed or lack thereof for Christopher Bell, is that a real problem, or is it just, they were ironing things out in practice? Because if he runs outside the top 10 and say Byron gets 16 stage points right off the bat, well, then if some weird thing happens, and weird things do happen at Martinsville, we've seen it with Bell before, the points do become a bit of a conversation with that. Now, and I know for a lot of you who might be coming in, you want to talk just about the race itself too. I get that. But like I said, I think that the best of the best are the ones who are going to be in this cutoff line, in this conversation. Denny Hamlin's another one of them. Denny Hamlin, if it ends up being like him and others have said it's going to be, Denny Hamlin could be the favorite in this race. And I don't think that's an overstatement at all. If it races like that, or if you have to conserve your stuff, I think it's going to be a really, really big advantage for those who have raced a long time in this sport. The Denny Hamlins, the Brad Keselowskis, the Kyle Bushes. Kyle Busch starting up towards the front. Could he be a challenge? I doubt it personally. I just don't see Kyle Busch necessarily having consistent enough speed to stay up towards the front. But he's starting 7th. He's got the track position game today. Ty Gibbs starting on the front row. Can he get that first win? I don't think he gives a rip about what happens to anybody else in this race. Teammates be damned. If he has a win in front of him, he's probably going to drive through your ass. Like, that's just the way that Ty Gibbs is wired. Could he be that wild card that ends up just shaking everything up, gets that win? I mean, what a difference that would make in the outlook for Ty Gibbs' season if he came out there and led like 150 laps and beat the best of the best to win today. I do think we're going to get more. I think we're going to get more cautions. than maybe people think. I don't think it's going to be like a clean stage one or things like, or like only stage cautions are the first cautions of the first 260 laps. I kind of want to look at the fall race last year as sort of a gauge with this. And last year we had 9 cautions for 66. But the longest run we had last year was 128 laps. And then we had 87 at the finish and 77 as the first run. We could have that. I think we're going to have a long first run today. And if we have a caution right away, we're going to have a long run early in the race to kind of widen things out. We'll get a pretty good gauge on who is really good and who might need to have some work. But the last 2, so we have 9 cautions for 2024's fall race, 7 for 2023, and then for 2022 we had 6. So we're steadily getting more as we go, and I think that's only going to continue. I'll put it like this, chat: 9.5 over under. What are you picking? And I'll put you guys on screen for that. Over under 9.5 cautions today. Do we get to the double digits, or are we under and in the single digits again? I think we're going. I'm going to hit the over on this one. If we're doing 9.5, I'm already seeing over, seeing an under. I think it's going to. There's going to be desperation. I think early on it might not look like it. I'm seeing a heavy under is what people are saying. Barely under for a lot of y'all, but under. There's a few overs. I'm going to hit the over on this one. And maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid of what NASCAR media and NASCAR in the garage and some of the drivers are saying. But I do think that we're going to see a bit more of a wild race than we're used to at Martinsville. I mean, like I said, we had 6 cautions in this race in 2022. We had 7 in 2023. We had 9 last year. The trend is up. I think the racing has gotten more dynamic in this race each of those years. Because, you remember 2022, and the majority of that race was god awful. And then the last run got really fun when there was tire differences. And then Ross Chastain just wiped all of our memories of how bad that race was. 2023, a bit better overall, not as crazy of a finish. And then last year, I think people forget, we had a really, really good race going, a really competitive race. I think we had a good amount of tire wear. And you had a 3-driver battle for the win between Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson. And nobody remembered it really because of the controversy last year. I don't know if we get a controversy this year because there's not the points battle that we had last year that's close. A lot of times what causes these controversies at cutoffs is the points battle, and somebody needs to get an extra point or two. I mean, you look back at last year, you look back at the Haas deal, Stuart Haas deal in 2022. You look back at Kevin Harvick spinning Kyle Busch in 2020. You look back at Spingate, for instance, and they all have the one thing in common of the driver needs to get X or Y or Z amount of points, and the other guys have to help them out. Whereas with wins, I don't think we see somebody roll over and give somebody a win. I don't think we see that tonight. So I actually think we're probably, I would give it about a 90% chance we're going to get through this without some major controversy. Now, maybe we get one next week. We've been relatively good at not having controversies so far in this playoff run, at least compared to last year, that's for sure. So I would say we're probably not going to have something like that. If we have a controversy, it's going to be like 2017, where Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott get together and Chase gets crashed and everyone's pissed at Denny. Like, we could have maybe something like that at the end of the race, maybe like a Alex Bowman taking out Denny Hamlin kind of thing, like in 21. But I don't think we're going to have some major manipulation crisis unless maybe Bell and Larson are just god awful. And the points battle with Byron and Logano and Blaney gets really tightened up. But there's so many what ifs and well, that could happen of this. I think we'll be in the clear. I'm hoping we are, honestly. I don't want there to be controversy. Looking at the practice speeds outside of Casey Mears and Cody Ware, the competitive field was within 0.3 or less of each other. Pretty normal for Martinsville, but it's going to be close. So I'm assuming we're going to probably have contact, especially as the day goes on. And that's why I'm hitting the over with a lot of this stuff. But, kind of looking back at the weekend too, and it's been a decent enough weekend. The truck race, it's a truck race. Corey Heim gets the win, and ties Bodine for 6th all-time, I believe it is, on the truck wins list. Heim is joined by Majeski, Ankrum, and Honeycutt in the final 4. We'll get to that this week on NWP, that's for sure. We will for sure talk about that this Wednesday on this channel. Definitely want to be here for that. Going to be a lot of fun. So subscribe if you're new, because we'll be live after the race as well. We will be talking all things Martinsville. We'll be, every bit of it. We'll have it live during the race, so y'all can come on in, have a lot of fun, hang out. There's no matter what, there's going to be a lot to talk about tonight. So there is that as well. The Xfinity race, Taylor Gray gets his first win. It was a replay of the spring with the 54 and the 8, and the 8 had restraint. And with that restraint, he ended up missing out, sure, but gaining probably the respect of a lot of people in the industry, a lot of fans probably as well, compared to what he had in the spring. I thought overall that race was actually really good. There was comers and goers. It was the Martinsville I like to watch. It wasn't too much carnage. It got a little sloppy, but it wasn't too crazy, too bad. If the Cup races like the Xfinity race does, and the Xfinity cars especially do, I will be very pleased with this race today. And with it, Zilich and Allgaier are already in. Jesse Love and Carson Kvapil qualifying as well. JRM has 75% of the 4 drivers in at Phoenix next week. I actually, again, championship I can push aside with it, but I actually, when it comes to the Xfinity racing, look forward to Phoenix because this car races really well. I can't say the same about the truck or the Cup car, but the Xfinity Series car races really, really damn well at Phoenix. And of course it does. It's the best car in NASCAR. There'll be a lot of storylines. We'll talk about those in the pre-race on next Sunday for the finale for Cup, and we'll talk about it Wednesday in NWP. There's plenty to look at with that. I think there was another super chat here who says, "Hey boss, hamburger, please." I don't know if that's a meme I should know, but I appreciate the super chat. Put you guys back on the screen. So now, and I see Wizard King Nick says hello from Martinsville Speedway. Awesome. Have a great time. Have a hot dog for me. And I hope the race is great for you. We got hot dogs. Hot dog is actually a Led Zeppelin song too. Filthy Frank. Okay. Yeah. Trust me. I'm on 3 hours of sleep. So I apologize for brain fogging and brain farting. I should know that. But we got hot dogs in the chat. Now I want to know in the chat a few things I'll ask y'all and have you guys spam in here before we head out. Or if we have again, we don't have a super chat cooldown lap, but if any others come in like super chat, I guess, I don't know, caution periods. I don't know what we'd call it in this. I want to know, what do you think this race will be out of 10? Like, I know I ask after the race, but I want to know before the race. Like, what are you guys thinking? Are you thinking it's going to be good? Are you thinking, nah? Like, what is your guys's idea of what we're going to have today? I'll try and put as many on screen as possible. 9, I see hello from Switzerland. Hello. I love seeing everyone. Maybe that's what will ask next. Where are y'all watching from? Martinsville, Switzerland. I saw somebody earlier from Alabama. 6, 10, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7. I'm trying to get as many on screen as possible. Generally 6, 9. Nice. So generally you guys seem to be at least optimistic. And if not super optimistic, at least leaning optimistic, which, you know what, for Martinsville is saying a lot. Now, I showed you guys earlier the NWP picks, and you guys took Ryan Blaney with what we know now in practice and everything like that. I do want to ask you guys, where are you at with who to pick to win? Are you sticking with Blaney? Do you think maybe one of the Hendrick guys or the Gibbs guys? Is it somebody completely out there? I want to know. Let me know. Who do you think is going to win going into it now after qualifying? There's plenty to look at with it. We already got 22. Still sticking with the 12. 24. We got basically the Hendrick duo of the 5 and the 9, the JGR duo of the 11 and 19, Blaney, Logano. Oh yeah, y'all can't change it. But if you could, who would you pick? Blaney, Elliott, Hamlin. Yeah. I mean, it has been 10 years since that's happened. Logano, just a Hendrick car. Penske pulls a rabbit out of hat. Logano or Larson. Let's see. 12, 5. We got a Cody Ware stand. 21 is a wild card. I hadn't thought of Barry as a wild card, but I think he would be a good one. And then Custer. I know that sounds weird for me to say, but 41's run well here before. Haas has run well here before. They ran well during the time with Tony Stewart. They ran well before, generally. So watch out for that Ford duo. I like 21. I think 41 as well, but I like Barry as a wild card. Byron, Hamlin, Elliott, Byron, Bell, or Chase Elliott, Briscoe. So I think we're kind of all over the place with this one. Dark horse Ty Gibbs, very much a dark horse, but he can definitely be in there. I think there's a lot of good picks this week. There's a lot of picks that are good value picks, if anything else. I don't gamble anymore, but if I did, like there's some pretty good ones to look at as well. I guess the last one, since I brought it up, like, where are y'all watching from? Like, I'm sitting here in Tennessee. I'm seeing people from all over the world and the country and everywhere else. Wouldn't it be awesome if like somebody was watching from like the space station? Like that would be freaking cool. Let's see what we got here. North Carolina, Wisconsin, Indy, Wisconsin, Kansas, UK, North Carolina, Maryland, ATL, Alberta, Norway, France, New Hampshire, New Jersey, North Carolina, New York, unfortunately. Yeah, buddy. I've heard a bit back and forth about that. Sit in my chair in SoCal, New York, Daytona, Georgia, Colorado. I'm trying to get as many of you guys as possible. Italy, Kazakhstan. I don't even know if all of these are where you guys are from, but I like the different ones all over the place. I know a lot of them actually are, and I think it's pretty cool. Illinois, hey, I used to live there. I love seeing where everybody's from, and I know like sometimes people take the piss a little bit with it and put random stuff, but it is cool seeing where so many of you guys are watching. We all got one common thing that we all come together every week for, and I absolutely love it. And man, we have 1 week after today, and it makes me kind of sad. Though we'll be live in the off season for sure. By the way, NWP will be as well, as long as the lawsuit goes through to December 1st, should have a lawsuit special, unfortunately, which now I want to look at this. How many days until December 1st? 36 days, y'all. 36 days. It's going to linger. I'm telling you, I said it last night. I'll say it again right now. Whatever happens in the next 8 days, if you include today, and then through next Sunday, this offseason is going to have fireworks. We're going to have probably a break during Thanksgiving. We're going to have a break around Christmas and New Year's. But if the championship has any kind of controversy, whether it be Heim not winning, Zilich not winning, something crazy happening in the Cup race or any of the races, free agency will be throughout. The lawsuit's going to be a huge talking point through November and December. The new playoff format or full season or whatever they choose for the championship is going to be in the January, more than likely, just like they've done in years past, on top of any of the things swirling around. This is probably going to be one of the more chaotic off seasons heading into a crazy silly season next year. I mean, if you look on the J-Ski silly season charts, yeah, there's been some that have re-signed or signed in other places. This is probably going to be one of the more crazy silly seasons. Kyle Busch, for instance, could be on the move, among others. I mean, I'll just pull it up really quick before we head on out of here. Their team driver chart. And I got the 2026 one. And I guess I'll just go through the ones that aren't necessarily confirmed, but maybe there might be soft confirmations here. Chastain looks like he'll be through 27. 2026 is like the hard deadline, but probably through. Cindric does not have family immunity anymore in the 2-car. His contract ends in 2026. Austin Dillon in the 3. I doubt he goes anywhere, but if he retires to run the team, that could be something to throw a domino in there. Multi-year deal was signed for all of the front row guys, so they should be good. Larson's contract ends in 26 from the looks of it, though his sponsors are extending through 27, 28, and 29. I think he'll be fine. Brad ain't going anywhere. We got Suarez more than likely on a 1-year deal at Spire. If he doesn't perform, who goes to the 7? Kyle Busch could be a leading option there. He'll be a free agent after next year. I doubt he stays any longer there. Colleague, they're going to Ram in the Truck Series next year. Ty Dillon's contract with them looks to end after 2026 if he returns. Does he stay, or does that kind of ECR alliance go away? Colleague could be a very interesting long-term option for some drivers. Blaney looks to have a long-term extension still, though it's estimated 26. I don't think he goes anywhere. Allmendinger, somebody who's, I think, on a 1-year deal in Cup. They take it year by year in Colleague. What happens with him? Chris Buescher, another one in 17. I don't think it'd be smart to go off of him, but there's so many shakeups too. Bell, I'm assuming he'll be back after 26. Josh Berry, is there any shakeup with the Wood brothers? It's multi-year starting in 25, but multi-year could be 2 years. So that could happen there. Bubba Wallace depends on what the lawsuit too, with the 2311 and front row deal. Like if they even have charters or contracts set up. Todd Gilliland, another one, signed a multi-year deal, should be good. Does Herbst after next year? Is he going to stay in the car? Sounds like he'll be good in 2026. We don't know, though. We don't know if he stays long-term. Custer, I'm assuming, will stay with the factory team. The legacy guys, though, I mean, that's up in the air as well. Tyler Reddick, whether we lawsuit or not, looks like 2026 is the end of this current deal. So, there's a lot of questioning around that. Alex Bowman in the 48, his contract looks to end in 2026. Does Hendrick extend him or go for a different younger driver, a free agent? What happens with with that one? That could be something big. Stenhouse and Hayek, looks like it'll be past 26, but not sure. I mean, it's a 3-year deal he's currently on right now. Let's see, Priest, unknown, especially whatever happens with the charters of the 60 with RFK and all of that. And depending on what goes on with that one, McDowell, another one to look at. Hocevar in the 77 looks to, we'll be back in 2026 by the sounds of it, but we don't know what happens after that. There's a lot to look at, and that's just the Cup Series. I could probably go through the Xfinity and trucks and probably find a ton more that we could look at. I think next silly season is going to be crazy. I think it's going to go into the off season. There's going to be a lot of movement for 26 and beyond. I'm really looking forward, I think, to this off season, because I think there's going to be plenty of stuff to keep us invested. That's for sure. But I think that'll do it. I will let you all go. I won't yap on too long. I will put up the stream for the Cup race in about an hour, maybe an hour 15 or so, right around when they start doing the invocation. So definitely come on in for that. We're going to have a ton of fun during the race, after the race, all of that. But I promised y'all I'd get done before noon Central Time. So that for those of you who don't watch football, you can have lunch before the race. And if you watch football, you don't have to listen to me yap over that as well. So thank you guys for coming on in. I appreciate you as always. And I will see you guys in a bit. So have a good rest of your morning and enjoy the race. Later, guys.